In today's rough and tumble world of politics, is there anything we can do that really matters? Can we change this world? It seems unimaginable, but schools wrestle with who can walk into which bathroom. Bakers, flower shops, and photographers are told by the state how they must run their businesses. Ever higher taxes and fees, and the fees are really more taxes, threaten to crush the dreams of too many Colorado families. In some ways, our culture is upside down. What can be done? A lot can be done. You can change your world. You can change our world. But you have to know where to start. We can help. And it's not complicated. When it comes to putting a positive push to our culture, a great deal of it starts with your local political scene. All across Colorado, precinct caucuses will be held this year on Tuesday evening, March 6th. You can change our world. Let's get started.
We the people, we the neighborhoods, we your next door neighbor can have a role in government and participate in the caucus system.
Don't miss it. The caucuses are an exciting experience, a meaningful experience.
Our precinct and that history of the precinct had never had more than 19 people ever show up. Well, from my church, I brought 77 people.
All these other people that decided they weren't going to come or didn't have any interest don't have any say. And here it is, me, relatively new to Colorado, I have a lot to say.
And I think it's a really good opportunity for me to learn about who I can vote for, what my options are, and get involved in the political process a bit more.
I hope you take fullest advantage of Colorado's wonderful political party precinct caucus system.
Hi, I'm Kevin Lundberg. I've been in the legislature since 2003 and I'm running for state treasurer. But for me, it all started in my local precinct caucus way back in 1972. In Colorado, the key to having a positive effect on our government is through the caucus and assembly system. Over the next few minutes, I'd like to introduce you to some friends of mine who know how important it is to get involved.
Because we're surrounded by 24/7, 365 national news. And as a result, we think in big terms, and we think of what's going on at the federal legislature, what Mitch McConnell needs to do, what the president should do, what the Supreme Court should do. And thinking that way, we miss really the opportunities here. And if I can take you back to the American Revolution, you look at the first four battles of the American Revolution: Lexington, Concord, Road to Boston, and Bunker Hill. Nobody contacted the National Commander-in-Chief, George Washington, and said, "Hey, what do you want us to do here?" Everybody said, "It's my community, I'll take care of it." So with Lexington, the Battle of Lexington was a pastor, Jonas Clark, popping up and saying, "I got 70 guys in my church, we'll go face the 700 British. The Battle of Concord was the Reverend William Emerson said, "Got it, 300 guys, we'll meet them at the bridge." The road back to Boston, same thing. Bunker Hill, same thing. It was all local people, and the way we won the American Revolution was not by national strategies, because we won all the local areas. That's exactly the way politics works. When you come from the bottom up is when you get healthiest.
You and I decide on caucus night whether or not we care or we don't care. And it's only a handful of people that really make that difference and say, I care enough to show up and support someone like myself or someone else who believes as I do, that that person should be on city council. That person should be my state representative. That person should be on my school board.
In the state of Texas, we have been a red state now, a conservative state for a number of years, after having been a blue state with Democrat liberal leadership for 130 years. It took us 2 or 3 cycles to do it, but we focused at the precinct level. We weren't running statewide candidates, we were running precinct level candidates, and then I became part of the state leadership purely as a result of conservatives getting involved. Then when people like me became the state leadership, we had different kind of candidates we could recruit, that we could fund, different messaging put out, and we took the state for the first time in 130 years. We thought, wow, we got statewide level stuff. Yeah, we did, because we won the precinct level stuff. And so what we did, in my case, I was one of the precinct leaders. We had to take over our precinct. Our precinct and that history of the precinct had never had more than 19 people ever show up. Well, from my church, I brought 77 people. We suddenly own the precinct. We voted ourselves to be delegates. We went to the convention. We chose the right people. And that's exactly how you take it. And that's what the story of history is. So you look really at the local level.
If something's going to happen in our town or in our community, someone who cares about our future has to take at least one night or maybe a year or two to be willing to serve on city council, to be willing to serve on the school board, to be willing to go to the legislature. That's what built America. One person in three, in some time during their lifetime, will hold a position of public trust. That should be you and me. If we don't, the people that may do that to us may ruin this last best hope of mankind, but we won't let that happen. So we're going to do what's right. We're going to get involved.
It really isn't that complicated or overwhelming, but to make a difference, it does take a commitment to show up. So that's the first step. You can be that difference if you show up and if you stand up.
When we moved to Colorado in 1992, we moved from California, one of the mass groups that came. And I had never been involved in politics in any way, never been really interested in it. Always been angry with what happened, but I never took an active role. So I wasn't really engaged in the political system at all. Although when it came time to vote, I tried to vote as best I could in a conservative manner. So then I come to Colorado, and all of a sudden I'm becoming aware that I might even have a voice in Colorado politics in some way. And so then comes in an election cycle, and I thought, okay, gee, they have a caucus system. What is a caucus system? I didn't even know. Never heard the word before. It's interesting that not very many people even knew about a caucus here in Colorado Springs. And I was kind of disheartened a little bit because I thought, well, it looked like it might be a good system. Why aren't we involved? Well, you know, all these other people that decided they weren't going to come or didn't have any interest don't have any say. And here it is, me, relatively new to Colorado Springs, I have a lot of say. And so that, to me, that was a real advantage to being a part of a caucus.
The Colorado caucus is a beautiful thing. It's a reflection of the way a republic is supposed to be run. It's you choosing your representatives or becoming a representative. And the thought of having, as the chairman of Boulder County, I realized that if I had precinct committee people who did what they were designed to do, to actually be a good neighbor and go to talk to their friends and promote the good candidates and get them out to vote, I honestly believe that we could turn this county red in a matter of a decade.
The caucus and assembly system is not just party politics. It's the essence of our republic. It's how individual citizens just like you choose the people who will represent all of us.
You know, a lot of people of strong convictions, political, economic, spiritual, people who believe deeply in this country as a nation under God and our constitutional form of government as Americans, as a free people, get so discouraged with the grubbiness of the political process that they're tempted to drop out and be spectators and stand on the sidelines. Or if they're involved politically, some of them say, neither political party really expresses my beliefs and convictions anymore. I'm going to be unaffiliated. I just don't think we can afford that. As a conservative, as a Christian, I try to live by the Constitution and by the Bible. I bet you do too. We have got to be involved. Civic engagement is not optional.
We have a vested interest in getting involved in politics. As Bastiat said, either you get involved in politics for two reasons. Either you want to partake in the plunder or you want to stop the plunder. And so we've had a lot of plunder partakers involved in politics for a long time, but we need to get more Republicans trying to save the republic.
I have been involved politically at the local level when I was the Weld County Chair. I was also at the state level and can't tell you how much and how important it is to continue with the caucus systems.
I love our neighborhood caucus system. It's first and foremost the best way to go to meet your neighbors, to talk about politics in a really great environment that everybody is open to discuss all kinds of views. Now granted, they're either Republican or Democrat, but it brings everyone together.
Millennials need to be engaged in the caucus system because the caucuses help shape our elections, and our elected officials make a big difference in the future. If you want to be involved in what the future of your country and your state look like, you have to be involved today.
There's a really big value to a small setting in which you discuss politics with small amounts of people who are from your county, and they might not share your political views, but they do share your community with you. And it's really valuable to get together with those people, talk about your candidates, talk about the political opinions, and network in that way.
So let's review. The caucus and assembly system is the first step in selecting our elected leaders. On Tuesday night, March 6th, caucuses will be held all across Colorado. A core function of the caucus is to select delegates to the assemblies that will be held over the following weeks. At the assemblies, candidates are elected to be on the primary ballot in June. It is also possible to get on the primary ballot by collecting enough signatures on petitions, but most primary candidates are selected at the assemblies. Other actions at the precinct caucuses include straw polls, discussion of current issues, appointment of precinct leadership, and submission of resolutions for consideration at the assemblies. As I mentioned earlier, I am running for state treasurer, and I will be asking the Republican State Assembly to place me on the primary ballot. This is a very competitive race. To be successful, I need your help. First, commit to attend your caucus and bring somebody with you. Second, please contact me today so we can get some more information to you for your caucus. Finally, my biggest need at this point is identifying who will be with me at the Republican State Assembly on April 14th. If you are interested in helping in any way, please go to my website and join the team. We need an army of volunteers to accomplish this big task. Let's show up and let's stand up together.